And Bitcoin open interest just keeps climbing. The amount of leverage positions people are opening is absolutely crazy right now. My name is CryptoChester. I'm here today to give you your Bitcoin update. What we're going to be looking at, we're going to be looking at a little bit of the on-chain stuff. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin on the macro. We're going to be looking at BTC ETF deadlines. Very, very important stuff, guys. When are these deadlines coming through? And essentially, what can we expect from the chart in terms of price predictions for these deadlines over the coming months? Very, very interesting stuff at the end of the video, guys. But before we get that, we're going to do Bitcoin dominance, couple of bit of information about altcoins, and also on the micro as well. We're going to be looking for a position today we can be getting involved with. Starting off with Bitcoin here on the on-chain here, you can see, as I said at the start of the video, open interest climbing to highs, guys, climbing to highs. This essentially means people are continuously opening leverage positions. Scary, okay? And this basically means the whales are going to manipulate the chart any moment now and try and destroy you. So really, really be aware for that, guys. And another point I wanted to touch on was the funding rates, guys. You can see over the last few days, obviously, Bitcoin has been very, very, very bullish. And that obviously means the funding rates are going to be negative for your long positions. So essentially, you're going to get paid to hold your short positions. Now, this has drastically fallen over the last few days. What does this mean? This means a lot more short positions are getting opened as the days go on, right? Because it needs to be equal. So whoever has the most positions open, that's who's going to get paid. Okay, well, that's who's going to be paying to have them open, right? So in a sense of funding rates right now, you can see we've dropped right down to this area. So funding rates are still positive for your short positions to get paid, but this is drastically getting lower, essentially meaning a lot more people are opening their short positions. Very, very interesting stuff, guys. And a lot of people are turning a bit more bearish onto the market. Am I bearish right now? I don't think I am, because there's a lot of stuff to go into, and obviously, the chart looks really, really good, and we're going to look at some ETF deadlines to show you why I'm not bearish. I think we're due a pullback, but I don't think we're that bearish right now, okay, guys? So let's get straight into Bitcoin here on the shorter-term time frame quickly, because this was yesterday's position that we were looking for. Didn't get the candle body close that we were looking for, below volume weighted ATR bands, below trend lines, looking for this lovely little measure move to the lower side. Didn't get that, didn't get a position. Hey, it is what it is. It's a scalp. Let's see what we got on the table today. So let's delete those and let's look at the chart and let's get some chart patterns drawn in. What I would be looking for right now, obviously you can see we do have a very, very, very clean level of support on the lower side here, guys. Very, very, very clean. Okay, we've tested this, what, 5 or 6 times now here on the hourly chart. Now, what are we looking at on the top side? Probably going to be doing something along the lines of this, guys. This is essentially meaning that we've got a symmetrical triangle chart pattern at the top of an uptrend. What does that mean? It means it's a bullish pennant chart pattern. Bullish pennant chart pattern, guys, is a continuation pattern. This is a pattern that goes to the upside, okay? So if we're looking for a breakout, if we're looking for a long position for Bitcoin here, it's not going to be the biggest long in the world. It's not going to break highs, but what it is going to do, it's going to serve as a benchmark for future opportunity. Now, what it is going to do, it's going to be worth around 1% there, guys. It's going to be worth around 1% to the upside if we're going to see a lovely little breakout from this trend line. And the resistance point that I'm referring to here, guys, it is this lovely, lovely point coming through from here. So what are we waiting for in terms of a price? Around 44,000 to break to the upside. In terms of a candle body close that I'm looking for, I want to be breaking this previous micro high, I think. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm looking at. To break this previous micro high and then basically have the first take profit somewhere around this area. You can see we've got heavy, heavy levels of resistance there. Tapped it many times. So the likelihood of us testing this area is very, very likely. So in terms of a nice little scalp position for Bitcoin, banging it up like so, worth around 0.13%. If you're 10x in that bad boy, it's going to be worth around 1%. So not too bad at all, okay? So obviously you need a lot more equity in this position to be making a lot more money. But if this runs, it's going to be worth a lot more. So let's draw in some other price targets for this, because you guys know that I stagger my take profits all the way up as we go, just to be sure, because just in case we get reversed on. If we get reversed on, there's no point in being in the position, okay? There's no point in being basically stopped out and losing money, okay? So we're going to be staggering our take profits all the way up, looking at 44.1, 44.2, 44.3, and 44.4 to sum it up. In terms of moving averages, MAs, guys, you've got the 21 EMA coming up very, very steeply on the hourly, and you can see the support that we're actually forming on this yellow one, as you can see here. We're just testing that right now. If we can get a nice move from that, that's going to be confirmation that we're going to be heading up yet again out of this chart pattern, which is a bullish continuation chart pattern. So it's going to be looking very, very good to the upside for Bitcoin. In terms of a nice volume weighted ATR band guidance here, you can see the volume weighted ATR band on the 30-minute is looking pretty sexy indeed for a lovely bit of resistance from that bad boy coming up and testing that. If we do, I'm going to be using that as a take profit as well. That's the position I'm going to be looking for on the short-term time frame. Make sure you follow me on X, guys. Links in the description. I will be updating this position as we enter it, as we execute it on my X profile. Okay, link is in the description. Moving on to the midterm time frame for Bitcoin. Nothing really that crazy right now. Obviously, we've got key levels to be looking out for there. This was the chart pattern from before that we were looking for. Upward sloping parallel channel tends to usually break to the downside. Didn't break this time, broke to the upside with a lot of momentum. In terms of support levels, on the more of a macro time frame that we can be looking for, you can see I've got 40.8, 41.2, 41.7, 42.4, 42.8, and 43.3. You can see these levels have got tested yesterday, okay, on the daily. You can see we tested this at 43.4, drew that in. What do you know? Really, really good stuff. The one thing that I am looking for a potential test here, it is going to be the hourly, guys. The hourly volume weighted ATR band. If we do dump down here and we do come down and test this previous micro low here, and on the short-term time frame, guys, that's going to be around this 43.3 area. If that is going to happen, that lines up pretty goddamn perfectly with the volume weighted ATR band on the 60-minute, okay? And hey, if we do dump down, it's not the end of the world. Are we going to be shorting this? No, we're not, because we haven't got the chart pattern on our side right now. And there will be a break to the downside, but for me personally, I'm not going to get involved with the short, with a bullish chart pattern, bullish continuation chart pattern. And it looks quite clean to the upside right now. It's very, very bullish. So yeah, I'm not going to be shorting because it's going to be very, very trappy in my opinion, okay? Now, that's what I would say about the midterm time frame. Let's jump to the macro, guys. Let's jump to the macro and have a look at the... We'll start off on the daily, and then we're going to go into the ETF. Mosquito trying to bite me on the head. We're going to be looking at the ETF targets very, very shortly, so make sure you stay for that, because very, very interesting stuff, guys, especially with BlackRock and everything. But just Bitcoin for a second, let's look at this humongous chart pattern, which we've been staring at for so long now. It's this giant falling wedge, and the break to the upside obviously is around this area. Let me clear some of this up so you guys can see it. You can see the break to the upside was here. Very, very strong. You can see measure move to the upside looking like so. Completion of this measure move will be sat at around $50,000, just around that area, 50,000, 49,000. And you can see in terms of Fibonacci retracements from the all-time high of Bitcoin to the bear market swing low, you can see the Fibonacci retracement of the 0.786 is sat currently around 50,000, 49.7, that sort of area. So if we're looking for a key, solid, massive level of resistance, guys, for Bitcoin, that you want to be selling your house and shorting the hell out of it, don't do that. Not financial advice. This is where you want to be looking for, 49,900. Let's look at volume weighted ATR bands on the weekly here. If that's going to load, don't think it is. Come on, baby. Didn't even select it. All good. So that's coming down on the weekly to around $50,000 as well. So you can see we're definitely going to find some resistance at that 50K point. We've got Fibonacci, volume weighted ATR band, completion of the measure move. Extremely overextended weekly chart here. We've nearly got 8 weekly bullish candles in a row, guys. So we're going to see resistance at some point. How hard is it going to be? Pretty goddamn hard. You know the analogy that we're going to be using, guys. The CC gang know it. If you want to join the CC gang, link is in the description. Nice Telegram group. Nice, and it's popping. We've got Mount Everest here, guys. We can't reach the top of Mount Everest without having Base Camp 1 consolidation, okay? Base Camp 1 consolidation and a bit of a rest, okay? We need to rest. We need to get food. We can't climb the mountain without rest, okay? So we're going to consolidate on this area, and then we're going to take another leg up. That's the ideal sort of uptrend that we're looking for there. Have we done that? No, we haven't. We've gone absolutely parabolic. We'd like to see a big move to the downside. Now, let's talk ETFs. Let's talk deadlines. Let's talk price predictions for ETFs and how long is it going to take for us to get there. Now, what I am referring to is from Bloomberg, so reliability could be off. But yeah, from Bloomberg here, you can see the one that really, I mean, there's been ETFs filed before for Bitcoin and they have been rejected, but the one that is really taking everyone's eye here, guys, it is this BlackRock, okay? It's this BlackRock area, this BlackRock, the biggest asset fund management in the world, right? Because the reasoning for this is, guys, they very, very, very rarely fail to pass their ETFs, okay? They very, very rarely fail. And it's all probably insider stuff, but hey, they really fail to actually let anything bad come about with BlackRock, right? So if we're looking at when BlackRock actually failed before, they've only ever had one. They've only ever had one rejected from the source of Crypto Slate here. One ETF application rejected from BlackRock before, and that was because it looked a bit shady and there wasn't that much transparency in the nature of the ETF giving back to their investors, right? So the investors couldn't really see what was going on. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this does plan out, because the new ETF would also task Coinbase chief dude to basically be in charge of this whole thing, right? So that's obviously going to be causing complications because the SEC have just had a recent lawsuit with Coinbase as well. So yeah, a couple of things unfolding there with the ETF and BlackRock itself. But overall, guys, it looks very, very promising that this is going to go through because if BlackRock are going to file it, the likelihood of it going through is really, really, really high. Okay, so very, very bullish on that front. Now let's talk deadlines. Okay, the next deadline for the SEC to pass this is going to be, I mean, where are we? 15th of the 1st. Okay, so it's January the 1st. No, come on, man, get your head in it. It's January, and it's the 15th of January. Okay, so it's 2 weeks after the start of the new year. How far are we from that? We're nearly a month away from that, guys. Probably about a month and a week. So this basically means, in terms of market structure, in terms of market stability right now, a lot of people are going to be taking a step back and they're not going to be selling. Why would you sell right now if one of the biggest asset trusts in the world is filing for an ETF on the asset that you hold, right? It's very, very bullish. Okay, it's really, really bullish news. So there's no point selling. Okay, there's no point selling your asset because if it gets passed, it's gonna moon like crazy, right? So in terms of the deadline, which they probably will, we know the SEC and how they behave. They're probably going to be like, no, we'll just wait till the next deadline. And then the final deadline, guys, this brings us all the way to the 15th of March. Okay, the 15th of March. That's a long time away. Okay, it's a really, really long time away. And this basically means that Bitcoin could be stable until that point. Okay, very, very interesting stuff. Obviously, we do have a lot of other deadlines. We do have a lot of other ETFs, a lot of other trusts and stuff are filing, and you can see refiling because of they got declined before, but a lot of people are refiling because BlackRock have filed for this. Now this is where it gets very interesting because all of these dates, if they decline all of these and they move to these dates, you can see that we've got pretty much March. The 15th of March is basically D-Day. Okay, it's basically D-Day. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 on the 14th. You've got 5 coming through on that, well, 6 on that week, guys. So you can imagine the bullish momentum coming through if even one of these are passed. Okay, and in terms of like market stability until that point, as I said a second ago, people are just going to be holding their Bitcoin up until that point. And then after that, you've got the 19th of March, and then you've got 420 near enough. That's just about on the halvening, guys. That's just about on the halvening there for the Global X Bitcoin Trust, Global X, for their ETF to be passed as well. So it's going to be insanely bullish. If these all get passed at the halving, God, we're going to smash 100k Bitcoin easily, guys. Easily. It's going to be unbelievable. Okay, so I just wanted to run you guys through these because it's very, very important to be basically up together with these dates, and we can sort of predict the market conditions from these fundamentals. Okay, but let's talk Bitcoin dominance for now because we're at a very, very key point of resistance, guys, and this is essentially where altcoins could be starting to move on their own. Okay, very, very interesting stuff. Altcoins could start to move on their own because we're going to see resistance from this point. Okay, the resistance that I'm talking about, as you can see, massive dump to the downside, massive dump to the downside. Likelihood of a bit of a dump here is probably going to bring us down to around 54. This basically means Bitcoin is stepping to the side and letting altcoins move on their own. Okay, so ideally we're going to see some altcoins, what do you know, BTT and HNT doing really, really good stuff today. But what I would expect here is altcoins like Solana or VeChain or AVAX or DOT or Cake or coins like this to start waking up, right? This is when they start waking up, doing like 5-10%, something along the lines of that. Sort of altcoins that have their own blockchain, right? These guys are going to be waking up like Matic. Okay, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled for those guys. And in terms of CME gaps, we will be covering this again on Friday, tomorrow's stream, guys. Make sure you're here for that. And you can see we do have a CME gap coming down and still yet to be filled at around 39,000 to 40,000. Very, very interesting stuff because a pullback is needed for Bitcoin. Yep, crypto bubbles again, guys. HNT looking good, BTT looking good, XEC looking good. I will have separate videos coming out on all of these today, guys, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I've heard something about YouTube now. If I say subscribe and you're not subscribed, apparently the button like on the lower side of the video, the subscribe button, will now glow in like multicolored. So yeah, let me know in the comments if that does happen for you. And if you're not subscribed, it won't happen for you. I mean, if you are subscribed, it won't happen for you, unfortunately. But yeah, thank you for subscribing. You're not going to miss one of my uploads with the notification bell that is on. Fear and greed index, guys, you're up around 72 today, looking really, really strong, really, really greedy. And again, I want to reiterate, guys, open interest through the goddamn roof. The whales are waiting patiently to wreck you all. Okay, so really, really be prepared for that as well. But very, very greedy overall for Bitcoin. Just to summarize, I will be doing updates on this position coming through. On this bullish position, if we can get it. Obviously, it's looking pretty bearish right now. Just lost the 21 EMA as I'm talking. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm going to be looking for. So make sure you follow the X account. Link is in the description if you do want to get involved with that, guys. But yeah, that's going to be it from me, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching. I will be back tomorrow for a nice stream and also some altcoin updates later on today. But for now, it's going to be peace out and goodbye from me, Crypto Chester.